questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South they flying, keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Let me just make sure I'm not muted. I'm good. Big up, everyone. This is the Burnley match reaction. A 2-0 win. Smash and grab, we might as well say. Unlikely goal scorers too. We'll get into that. But listen, we'll take it. It wasn't the best of performance, but we'll dig deep into it a bit as we go along, and might just discuss a little event that happened on Twitter yesterday. Maybe we'll see. Big up, JC. How's it going, bro?
I'm still shattered. I can't lie to you. I am still tired. My voice is still finished. But yeah, I'm good, man. I can't wait to go to bed after this. I've got work in the morning.
Oh, yeah, I'm back at school as well. Yeah, that 2-week break's finished. It is finished.
2 weeks?
Yeah. I was
you
lucky.
got 2 weeks off term?
Oh. I was lucky. Look, I know my tag says Jeffrey Schlapp. That's what they're calling me now at the moment. I think one Brighton fan did on Twitter, which was like, yeah, fair play. But if you want anyone to be the main protagonist to, you know, ramp up the whole Schlapp agenda, we had to get our guy Ali on. Ali, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I feel very vindicated tonight. There's been weeks and weeks of criticism
of hoping,
and then up he popped like from nowhere with this incredible goal. That reminded me. I don't think I've seen a goal like that in top flight English football since Gary Lineker's sort of runs. It was superb.
No, absolutely. It wasn't a good game of football from our side, you know. Like, let's just be completely honest.
It didn't look like it. The match stats said it all, didn't they? But I said before on social media that for me it was just all about the 3 points yesterday. Yeah. Then we needed to lift the mood from like going 3 games without a win with Roy Hodgson's post-match comments. We just needed to lift that mood, and I think we have done. Like, I'm really kind of like today, looking ahead at the fixtures and thinking by December we could be nicely tucked inside of that top 10 with these 4 winnable games that are coming up.
No, absolutely. I mean, for me personally, I was looking for a performance. You know, we've shown defensive resilience against Spurs in the first half. We were shambolic against Newcastle. So I just wanted us to show a bit more.
I see what you're saying. I didn't see it. I didn't see the performance coming because I kind of assumed that Eze would be on the bench. And then the news that Raksaki was injured, whether he would have started Raksaki anyway, is, you know, I kind of just felt like it was a grind it out game. I thought Burnley and their fans would be up for it. And it's just like, just find the 3 points. What pleased me, though, was in the post-match interview, Roy said he wasn't happy with the performance. He said that we can use the ball better. So that's encouraging. I think hopefully now this can be a platform for us to build. And the performance absolutely got to improve.
No, absolutely. JC, like obviously we've had time to sleep on it. You know, when you're at the stadium, you can see one picture, then you might watch a match of the day or watch the highlights and so on and so forth. What was it about our performance, or are we actually taking credit away from Burnley?
I think that Burnley's players done nothing wrong, in my opinion. I think that they were actually the better team throughout 90% of the game. It's just the fact that when we had our chances, I think we made better chances. Granted, they did have 2-3 headers in the box, which they probably should have either got it on target or converted. I think Goodmanson had an incredible chance, which he should have even got on target, but he just scuffed it wide. But I have to say that really we were sitting back and defending and doing what we could to survive really for most of the game. Koleosho was, I don't know how. I think we need to have a Kolioso account on the vlog, but that guy absolutely ripped Ward to shreds. But the thing is, I think we dealt with it very well. I think that we have to big up our own defensive performance. I think that we've got joint one of the best defense. I think
It's incredible, isn't it?
I think we've got 5 clean sheets so far this season, and the only team with more than us is Newcastle, and they've got 6.
That's mad.
And it's pretty incredible. What basically we've got 2 incredible centre backs, and then probably 2 of the worst fullbacks in the league as well. So it swings and roundabouts a bit.
I feel like Mitchell is improving.
Yeah, he's improving, but he's still not quite there yet. He's got the defensive ability there. It's just that going forwards. Granted, he did score, but we need to see that. We need to see more of that, basically.
I saw somebody on Twitter calling for Mitchell for England, which is too far. Like,
no, we saw what happened when you got called up.
Yeah, and Paddy mentioned it in his interview as well. Like, yo, steady.
He's a mid player. Like, he's a mid player, but he is. It's nice to see him improving under RHEA after he was quite poor under Vieira and Vieira's last season. The Joel Ward thing, I love Joel. It's just, I've said it so many times, ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Like, just keep. There doesn't even seem to be an intention to get a right back. So it's just like. And then the funniest thing is, our backup left back and right back is Klein. He shouldn't even be our backup right back. So it's just.
Well, you know how we've got a right back merry-go-round. I could almost guarantee it that we're going to try and go all in for Wan-Bissaka because he's on a free in the summer, isn't he?
Yeah, but United are going to activate that 1-year extension.
They will, but even then, he'll be on a heavily discounted rate because of only 1 year left.
I don't know. It depends how he gets on at United. He was starting to do better towards the end of the season, wasn't he? I don't know. Who knows what's going on at United as well. So
yeah, I think the Mrs. Dad who downstairs, he says you can have all our fullbacks. They're all dreadful. so I'll happily take Aaron back. So
straight swap.
I take literally like any right back of any sort of ability. To be honest, so like give me anyone with a little bit of pace.
I know we ain't going to the comments yet, but Alexander says so Palace to replace Aaron Wan-Bissaka with him 5 years later. It's true. It's true. The merry-go-round goes. That's why we got Ward to replace Klein.
And we've got Klein back.
And then Wan-Bissaka came through. And then went back to Ward. And we thought, oh no, we'll go back to Klein again. And then, Wan-Bissaka is just the right way to go about it. But going back to the game, I think that there was no difference when I watched it on Match of the Day either, really. I watched the highlights back. Pretty much everything we saw and we thought that we were under the cosh. Nothing really changed when I watched Match of the Day. The only thing I saw on Match of the Day was me and you going mental in the crowd. But
absolutely.
Other than that, I think big respect to Burnley, but Company needs to back up his ideas because
you know what?
What do you think? I reckon Vieira could get him out of a bit of trouble because he had something to say about Vieira when we sacked him.
Yeah.
Hold that mega mind, waste man.
You know, I generally think that. I think they got Arsenal next. I think after the Arsenal game, if it's, I mean, you're not expecting to get a result, but I think
Lyle Foster, him being unwell for our game is a huge miss for them.
He would have caused us problems yesterday.
Having him up front instead of Jay Rodriguez would have been a much bigger task for the centre backs.
Yeah, and no disrespect to Jay Rodriguez, you know what? I think he played well.
He scored even though he was offside, it was still a good finish. Good finish,
yeah. He had the header that Johnston saved. I think he played well. If Company could get them to be clinical in the final third, they'll beat a few teams. Because when you look at it, the City game, they played well until they conceded. The United game, they played well until they conceded. And us, they played well until once they conceded against us, it's like they run out of ideas. In the sense, they look good on the ball, but it's like, how are we going to break this team down?
Their defensive ideas aren't as good as their offensive ideas. I think you could say that. They try and hunt in packs, but when doing that, everyone gets drawn out of position. That's probably why Mitchell had so much space at the end of the game to get his goal, because literally everyone was on the left side of the pitch. And he just
I think it's really interesting because I think I'm waiting to see whether Bournemouth stick or twist, because Like Bournemouth have given these teams a lifeline. Like all those promoted teams should be not virtually down, but like if I think Bournemouth squad's still good. If they twist and get a decent manager in, I think they'll pull away. But
I agree. I think the only reason why
I'm on the Luton train, you know, I think they'll survive.
So am I.
I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. I think they'll survive.
I just watched the game this afternoon. The atmosphere in there is intense.
They were brilliant.
And I'm watching, it's like Ross Barkley's playing for them.
And Andrew Townsend.
It's proper, like, bring back golden Premier League players who you think they're going to play Premier League again.
I don't wish injury on anybody, but was it Ogbene who was playing on the left-hand side? He might have picked up a hamstring injury.
Right.
He was giving Trent a torrid time. And that's Trent. That'll be Ward for us in a couple of weeks. Do you understand?
Yeah, that will be a hard game. I mean, we say that these games coming up they're all winnable, but I think Everton is winnable, a tough game. They've had an upturn in form. West Ham away isn't.
I think I'll take a draw against Everton if I'm really honest. I think they are looking on the up right now, and they've got a lot of momentum.
And it's a weird game because Daesh will come and do to Roy what Roy does to everyone else, and they'll sit in. And it's like, how's Roy going to play that?
So, it'll be two teams sitting off each other. It's going to be the deadest game I've ever watched.
Yeah, it will be dull. It will be dull.
But I think that with what you're saying about Bournemouth, I think that if Bournemouth was a little bit further ahead and had a few more points, I think that there'll be a lot more pressure on Company, you know, because I think the fact that they're still in reach, that's the reason why no one's really pointing the finger at him, saying, look, what you're doing ain't working. Because he's still in close proximity, there's no pressure on him right now. He's still got a lot of time to make up for it. But I think if Bournemouth twist, as you said, if they twist and get a new manager and go on a run and run away from him, then there'll be questions asked.
It looks like the sacking the previous manager looks like the worst decision.
Gary O'Neill's doing really well for Wolves now, isn't he?
Like, what were they doing? Like, I think maybe they're waiting for the international break and then they might do it. They've got to do it.
Yeah.
They've got to twist.
Cool. Let's talk for our first goal. I know you've been chomping at the bit, Ali. It's funny enough because listening to Sam Johnston's interview, the intention wasn't to pass it to Anderson there. He was waiting for Mitchell to get higher up the field to ping it to him. He didn't move, so he's passed it to Anderson. Anderson's clipped one down the line. Johnson said he missed the goal because he was still having a go at Mitchell. He was like, hey, get up the field and whatnot. Mitchell was good yesterday, by the way. And he's been good all season. And then obviously Jordan Bayer makes the mistake. But are you right now? I don't want to hear any disrespect on this guy, you know.
Nah.
Are you right now? The level of composure to spin him, like Bayer literally was babying. And
he dropped.
Yeah.
I need to go back and delete a lot of videos. I used to call him Forrest Gump because all he could do was run a lot. Like he's a starter, isn't he? Like, I mean, like for me, when everyone's back, I'd like to see him back on the left-hand side. I quite liked him on that left-hand side towards the end of the season. But that's, I think, like going back to Schlupp, like seriously, like everyone was, what could have Roy done different yesterday with Raksaki out?
With Raksaki injured, there's nothing he could have done.
The only one I heard was Hamada. Like, but I thought, look, Schlupp's got 249 Premier League games under his belt. And we're playing Burnley, who've just come up. And that, like, and between him and Ayew, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of Premier League games between them. And that sort of nous and that experience came through for us yesterday, even though we weren't playing well. And I just think, I feel for Schlupp in a way, I'm going to speak seriously about him now, because I feel like he's been scapegoated because he's been overplayed for the last 2 seasons by Vieira in the middle, when at times he should have used Will Hughes instead. And that just got fans frustrated. This season, obviously, because of the injuries and the absolute criminal recruitment we had in the summer, where we didn't get in a left-hand sided player despite our best ever left-hand sided player leaving the club, has forced Schlupp to play in the role. And again, like, that's just forced fans against him. He should be a 10 to 15, 20 game squad player who comes in and can do a job in games like that. And then I think people would go back to sort of liking Schlupp. The only thing I can't really defend him on is, and I don't know the backstory to it, he didn't look fit at the start of the season. And obviously, if you're paying your money, you'd expect a Premier League player to be there and look fit. Don't know what went on pre-season. But the other thing I would defend him on is I think there are certain games where everyone's been like, Schlupp's just sitting on the halfway line, where that's been a tactical ploy by Roy, particularly against Spurs, where he was just tucked in. He's got to be given license if he's going to play him to make those driving runs in the box like we saw for the goal, which he has got in him to do.
Yeah. And just on that, like, I use patience as well, you know, because he could have shot. He could have found Eddie. And you know what? It's these final details. Well done to Eddie as well, making that near post run as well. It's just little details, you know. And Schlupp, I think it was about 20, 25-yard dash. Like, he did well. He did really well. It was a real
burst. It's that burst of pace, that raw burst of a run that he's got in him that we're just not seeing all season. But
that's the thing. I know amongst us, especially like in the GC, and that we always say he's better when he's running forward with the ball.
Yeah.
The whole passing and trying to keep it ticking off, that's not his game. Give him the ball and let him run forward.
Yeah.
He's actually a threat.
Yeah.
Well, he done that, and he ran through a good few of their players in the first half, didn't he? He picked up the ball from Mitchell, turned, and actually had a run, and he bundled a few of their players out of the way and then passed it out wide.
Did he look fit yesterday?
I don't think fitness was an issue yesterday. Like, we were just so defensive.
Before he got injured, because Schlupp got a little injury, didn't he? He got an injury against Forest. I felt like game by game his fitness was picking up, because at the start, the first few games of the season, he looked really unfit. But if he's fit and he's given license to do those runs, he can have some sort of impact on our season. I'm not saying like when everyone's back, I don't think he should start, but he can still be useful. And sometimes he's been useful off the bench as well. But he's got to be given license by Roy to make those runs in the box, which I don't think he has always been the case this season.
Exactly. I think the only thing I would say tactically from him, and he did it better yesterday, I have to give him credit for, when he's on the left-hand side, he has that natural inclination to tuck in.
Yeah.
You know, all the time. So if Mitchell gets the ball, Mitchell's only option is to pass back to Gay or knock a ball down the line and no one's there. We lose possession. I think Lerma did one round the corner. He wasn't there. I think as the game went on, he actually held the width a lot better. And he on the defensive side especially, it was very professional from him. Yeah. Very, very professional. I think, to be fair, when I look back, it's a professional performance all round. It's shame it was bad from our side, but we limited Burnley to half chances.
Well, the thing is you can say that game we had a job to do and we done it. Really, yeah. We came in, we wanted 3 points, and we left with 3 points.
Absolutely.
Granted, the performance wasn't the best, but who really cares? If the performance bad and the points are still in the bag, who cares?
Yeah, we'll play better than that and draw or lose.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a job. We had a game plan as well from Roy. I think Roy's game plan was definitely to sit in that mid block, let them try and run at you and play through you, and when they get it down the line, then smother them out wide, because then all they done was went straight back and round again. So you could see what the game plan was, to not go out and press them, because we pressed Spurs, we saw what happened. They just picked us apart. And the thing is, of how they were playing, they probably could have done that as well. But I think Roy had a much more tactically balanced game this time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a load of comments. Big up to everyone interacting in the chat. It's nice little debate, not debates, but like good conversations.
100%. Nordine with the equal emojis. Big up getting those messy wins. We take those. Yep. Big up. Gene Cecil at the end always kills me. the intro. Yeah. Big up William. Big up Tim. I believe the performance will come next week with a win. I hope so.
Yeah.
Terrible game result. Never seen so much rain. Terrible game. Great result. Never seen so much rain. The drive there and back was mad. Burnley are okay, and they're actually really good.
Actually decent.
They're actually really good. They've got individuals all over the pitch that just seem to be really good players. Big up Pat. We ain't seen you in a minute.
Oh, I want to read that comment. I'm going to take my flowers. Sorry. He had
Okay.
something specific there. Don't worry. Like,
Okay, big up Ali, the GOAT, Rich T, the Beep fans, 01, Rich. Hardly the only right back to be ripped apart by Cody Yosh. I think before the last game, he was third in the league for most dribbles.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
He gave Ward a torrid time. Boy.
Oh, Ward was bad.
Every single team, just basically, they always targets our right hand side for a reason. Our recruit, and it was the same last season. Our recruitment team, what are they doing? Are they sitting in their room not talking about that?
I reckon the second they sold Wan-Bissaka, they said 5-year plan. He's coming back.
Like in the summer, I was saying this on. It's almost like some of our fans are being indoctrinated as well. Like in the summer, I was saying on Twitter, we need a right back, and some of our fans were like, "No, we've got Ward and Klein." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, I can't even talk about it actually.
Rich, you know what I say about fullbacks? Can't talk about fullbacks anymore because genuinely, I think I've spoken about fullbacks ever since Van Arnold got sold for another left back, and yeah, it's been a while, man. Tim here says Johnstone leading Golden Glove competition in terms of clean sheets at this stage. He's bonkers. He was loving the last goal. Did you? you know, we were celebrating. He proper turned to the Burnley fans and gave it one of them. He loves it.
We have got such a solid core to this team, which is why I am excited. Like him, Anderson, Gahey, Decore, Lerma, and they've held it together despite all these injuries. And when we start putting the little cherries on top, Eze and Elise, honestly, we're going to start kicking. And I'm saying it now, we will be above Brighton by Christmas.
Love that.
And that Brighton fan at the service station will be above you.
I think my only concern is that we might lose a few of our players in the summer. So
that was just the start of the tormenting.
That was funny yesterday. Sorry, anyway, we'll get into that.
Question, isn't Pope in front because he's got one more clean sheet? I think Pope's in front. He's got another clean sheet. And he's got 6 while Johnstone's got 5. Anyway, Mitchell's position the majority of time, but he's improving. No. Even if everyone's injured, I still don't want him to go.
When he got the England call up, his performances dropped badly.
Oh yeah, he fell off a cliff like Gallagher done when MacArthur got injured.
I can't see it happening anyway. Even if it's a big if, like Southgate likes to use Trippier on the left sometimes. Then if Chilwell came back fit, I just can't see him getting anywhere near it, to be honest.
Pat, you are smoking something if you think we're going to get any cash for Ward whatsoever. Because if he's going for free. He ain't leaving for any cash whatsoever. Assuming we don't spend any money on a right back because we're gambling on Ferguson.
We've been gambling on Ferguson for like 4 years now.
Yeah, I think he's been here for 4 years now, isn't
he? Yeah,
This is the 4th season.
Yeah, I can't talk about right back anymore. Done.
Yeah, I don't think they even spoke about us at all in Match of the Day, did they?
Let's talk about Schlutt. Let's talk about Schlutt, baby.
Easy.
That song they have for Schluff is dreadful, though. I have to say, it's worse than Decore's. Genuinely,
worse than the Edouard song.
Edouard song's not. Wait, the Palace one or Celtic one?
The Palace one is awful.
I don't even know it, so it's got to be pretty dreadful.
That annoys me, man. Like on Edouard, because I can see some sort of hate on him. Not hate on him on the timelines this weekend. Like he started the season well. We've not been creative without Eze, so I think it's harsh to judge him right now. And what annoys me is he's a confidence player. At Celtic, he was a hero. His name was sung. We need to get behind him a bit more as a fan base, in my opinion. I don't care what song we sing. We need to sing. We have a bigger song for our number 2 striker. I remember when we were at Sheffield United, he got a goal. Jordan Ayew got the assist, and we started singing Jordan Ayew's name. Like, we got to give him a bit of love, in my opinion. He's a player who needs that bit of love. And I still think when Eze and Elise are back, I want to see him as a striker given a shot still. But I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, where you're at with Edouard, but he started the season well.
He needs to start every game.
Yeah. he's dropping, but the creativity's been awful, hasn't it?
He's had nothing to sniff at.
When he has service, and we saw it at the end of last season with Eze and Elise and Ayew on the left. When he had service, he was scoring goals and he was making chances. Scored an absolute screamer against Fulham, I believe. Scored against Leeds as well in that smashing. Yeah. He was probably the best. He was best striker for a long way. He was more clinical than Zaha, and granted, that whole team was when Zaha was injured, and he was still banging goals.
Yeah,
so
he was quite good Fulham away as well. I think he got a goal Fulham away.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no, I mean, just he's had, like you said, he's had nothing to sniff at. I think let's judge him when everyone's back, really, and he gets some sort of service.
Yeah.
But let's give him a bit of love. Let's sing his name. You know, if we need a goal, we should be singing the striker's name. Like,
yeah. If it gets drastically bad, just say hypothetically, everyone's fit, Edwards out of confidence. I wouldn't even mind putting Jordan up top.
Look, you're going to get me back on this because you know what I'm going to come back to.
False 9 Schlupp.
Now, you know what? It wasn't even me, but someone else put it out on Twitter yesterday. And I had a conversation, right? I had a conversation
with
Leicester
fan. By any chance?
Of course he did.
I had a conversation with a Leicester fan on the way back on the train from Sheffield United. And I said to him about this, and he said, no, he started his career. Schlupp started his career as a striker. Look at that run in the box yesterday.
That's something a false 9 would do.
I think that he would be he'd be better than Edouard on the press from the front as well.
Chairman here says, shame Eddie's song at Celtic is quality. It is, but the fanatics won't do it for some reason.
I don't care what song, just sing his name. Like, literally sing his name. Like, he is our main striker. Let's make him feel like that. Like, if we're 0-0 in a game, we should be singing our striker's name for a goal. Like, he gets nothing. Nothing.
100%. Tarek Mitchell. It's funny at the ground, and we had Tristan come and he decided to come join us second half, and we're screaming, "Get it in the corner! Get it in the corner!" Because obviously we were just literally under the cosh. Obviously, Burnley were pressing for an equaliser, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Wait, hold on a minute, we're in their box." And then Mitchell just pops up from nowhere, and I think the pass may have been for Hammonds.
It was. The pass was for Hammonds, but Mitchell said in his press conference or in his post-match that as he was running onto it, he had to tell Hammonds to leave it. He's coming through. And he did.
He did, and it was a great finish.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't a similar situation to what happened with West Ham with Antonio and Ben Rama. At least they actually called for it. I'm sorry, but I had to put that in there. That was outrageous.
Antonio fumbled the bag there because literally Ben Rama's got a tap-in. He's got a tap-in. You know?
But yeah, I tell you what a finish from Mitchell. In it, sprinting, side net with some serious power on it as well.
Yeah.
That was his first goal he scored for Palace with his foot, because the last goal he scored with his shoulder.
Yeah. That was a great finish. And you know what? I think I was a bit harsh on Hammonds in my play ratings. Like when I watched it back, he actually was good. I think defensively he was getting pulled apart a bit. Like he's still trying to work his way, because obviously the Premier League, the pace is quick. Like Burnley will knock it 1 and 2 touch very quick. But when he did get the ball at his feet, boy, can he run with it. His dribbling ability is actually crazy.
I'm intrigued by him. I want to see more of him.
Yeah, same.
I feel like I hope we get like some nice FA Cup draws where we can embed a few players like that, like Raksaki and Hamada, and give them, a few games to, show what they can do. Because I think once everyone's back, it's going to be hard for someone like Hamada to get a sniff, because he struggled with all these injuries. So, but he's been injured. He was injured for a while himself. So,
but you know what I think it is as well, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I think when we have everyone back, we have a bigger squad. There may not be much of a necessity to have to play everyone 90.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a bit of stubbornness from his part, but his reluctance to make necessary changes, I think, is also a hindrance.
But especially with a 5 sub rule.
Yeah.
He himself said when he came back that he had to get used to it. And that's where the onus comes on someone like Paddy McCarthy, like the younger coaches, to help him with that. But I think, for me, when everyone's back, it's going to be the team that finished last season with Lerma in for Will Hughes. That's what it should be, in my opinion. But then, you've got players like Will Hughes, even Schlupp, I'm going to say it, Ahmada, Raksaki, Mateta, you can come off the bench and have an impact. It's still, compared to other Premier League benches, not very good in my opinion, but it's much better than it was.
I think just to have a bench in general is because we've never had a good bench as long as I can remember in the Premier League. Never. It's always been 1 or 2 players, and then the rest is just kids and 2 goalkeepers. That's normally what our bench is. But to see that we've actually got, obviously they're not starting quality at the moment, but they're still much better quality than what we used to have on the bench. We actually have people that we can bring on and actually change the game, which is just nice to see. But one thing I'll ask you, Rich, before we move on to Ali's player ratings, is that on Twitter there was a lot of people. Obviously, they weren't at the game, so they probably saw the game on TV, but we were actually at the game. Can you explain why that game was not a game for França whatsoever? Because some people complain that he didn't come on the pitch.
For those who saw the game against Spurs, and this is we were chasing the game at this point as well. It was against a team who were just technically better than us in Spurs, and França looked lost. He's going to need confidence. He's going to need minutes to go confidence, and he will get better. I think I've seen enough of his movement to say he'll get better. And apologies for my internet's acting in a minute. Burnley had way too much possession, and you know what? They had a little bit of dash in them. Like the proper physical side to them. They were so much better in that element than I thought they would be. I thought they would be like a soft touch on the company, and they weren't. I promise you, if França had come on, he would have struggled. He would have struggled trying to get into the game, trying to get a pass, finding any sort of space, and yeah.
I've just still not seen enough of him to really, I don't get all these people who say, "Oh, he should be starting." It's like, how can you? What have you got to base that on? He hasn't played enough Premier League football, apart from that brief cameo against Spurs, where I don't want to judge him on it. He doesn't look ready. The thing that's hit me the most is everyone thought, well, at least we've got in the summer, naively, at least we've got like a young left-hand sided player. He's been played centrally. And it's just hit me. We've done literally nothing to replace anything on the left-hand side. But yeah, he's another player who we could do with some nice FA Cup draws, with some nice games to embed him in and give him some experience in that sense. Maybe like a League One team or something.
Watch us get Man City third round.
Or get Newcastle again.
Newcastle away, yeah. Probably. We can take a flag and wind them up. They are a very sensitive fan base. There was one guy on Twitter who I'm sure didn't go to sleep and spent 48 hours angry about that flag we took. Even the next morning, he was still going on about it.
All right, so Ali, we're going to go through your player ratings, then we're going to open the lines for other people to jump in.
Should we start with Schlupp?
Because he's your guy, we'll start with Schlupp.
Oh, we give him a 10.
Maybe we won't start with Schlupp then. Okay, so obviously with your tinted glasses on, he's a 10. So let's say that your Schlupp glasses are not on today. What is his rating?
I'll give him an 8. Give him an 8 for the goal. You got to give him an 8 for the goal.
Okay.
And it was a big goal. It was an important goal, obviously, in the context of the game.
Let's go Super Sam Johnstone. Where's he going?
Give him an 8, clean sheet.
Wardy.
Let's give him a 5. That's quite nice, really, isn't it?
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Anderson, who's been voted as man of the match by the fans.
Yeah, give him an 8.
Gay.
Give him a 7.
Mitchell.
For the goal, we'll push him to an 8.
Check Decore.
6.
Lama.
Give him a 6. They did okay.
Ayu.
I think for that assist, as Rich was saying, that was a spot on. And like I was saying with Schlupp, it was such a big moment in the game, in the context of the game, that I'd stick him at an 8. I guess there's quite a few 8s, but based on the performance not being that good. But like I said, they're players who did crucial things. Like Anderson obviously had some massive challenges at the back. Johnston had a clean sheet. Schlupp and Ayu is involved in the goal. Fuse, I think 6.
Edward.
I feel harsh, doing it, but I think I'd go 5. And actually, if I'm giving him a 5, push Ward down to 4. But as I've said, the context of Edward is he's not getting the service. But there's nothing for me to give him a high mark.
Onto the subs. Let's go with Ahamada.
I don't know. Like, he's not had that much time. I'd say just give him a 6. I feel it's harsh to give him anything higher or low.
Ebbs.
Give him a 7. The assist was like, I'm disappointed to know that it was meant for someone else because it looked filthy. But him coming on just feels like a massive moment now for our season.
To be fair, I think the pass was... No, I think no matter who it was for, I think it was weighted perfectly for both of them.
It was beautiful. Like, it's like him coming on, and then the fact that I think Elise will be in the matchday squad next week it just feels like our season's starting over again. Kleiny, 10. Nah, give him a 6. Like Nathaniel Klein for me embodies our recruitment. The fact this guy is our backup, he shouldn't even be our backup right back. The fact he's our nothing against him, the fact he's our backup left back as well is shocking.
And finally, Chris Richards.
He didn't do anything too wrong, did he? Stick him on the 6. 6 is kind of my middle ground. So
cool.
I feel like possibly it's a bit harsh. Maybe Anderson should be a 9, but and certain players like Schlupp are there because of pivotal moments in the game. But I think, like we were saying earlier, I think like our Premier League experience and now got us through that game. And that first goal, both involvements from Ayu and Schlupp were massive because I think that first goal was always going to be massive in that game to break the deadlock. And it wasn't beautiful, but the 3 points feel beautiful and feel rejuvenated for the season now. Like I'm excited to go, and I think what thing for me was I'm upset because of the injuries. We lost the momentum from the end of last season, but I feel like Roy now with these 4 games has an opportunity to regain that momentum of that team that finished the season. And really get them back into their rhythm. And the patterns of play were really good. So when at the end of last season, we were playing some good football at the end of last season. And it's encouraging to hear Roy say that he wasn't happy with the performance. So it's, for me now, the season, it's the big cliche, but for me, the season kind of starts now.
I think if I'm going to go through this one quickly from what my opinion would be, I'd probably put Hughes down to probably a 5 and then put Wardy down to a 3. But maybe that's about it. I think Ebbs, I know the assist was good, but I think the 7's a bit high because he did only touch the ball about 5 or 6 times in the game. But I think the others I probably agree with. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the performance as a whole, most of them could go lower. But
yeah, I'm thinking everyone here is very generous.
Yeah, but I guess if we're looking, it depends on how we're looking at it. Like the fact that we've gone and done a professional performance,
100%.
I can see the logic in that. Right, just two things quickly before we bring. Oh, he's in anyway. Welcome, Alex. And Chairman. Two things. First things first. I saw this stat on Squawker, which I found very interesting. So, yes, Jordan Ayew is the first player to win 250 duels in the Premier League in 2023.
That's a stat.
That's a crazy stat. You know, he's also won more fouls and completed more take-ons than any other player in that time. Unbelievable.
He's had to. Yeah.
You know. And lastly, for you Brighton fans who were all up in the mentions yesterday, yeah. Just, you know what? Maybe Brighton's a boring place. Maybe you don't understand what banter is. I mean, there's one specific guy was like, "Oh, you lot are probably from Sutton or Crawley," and we're like, "No, I thought it'd be for the South Lord actually. If you want to visit," it was like, "All right." It's like, you don't want to come these sides. You don't want to come these sides. But you know what? Fair play. There were some Brighton fans that took it on proper good on the chin, gave banter back, and we were cracking up the whole journey there and back. You know, but you know that it was the Jack one. Bless him. Like we've solved things now, but he was so angry. He was so angry. I'm like, you've written an essay here. Like, it's really weird that you've done. Okay. So, but yeah, I just thought I'll just get off my chest. But I thought it was hilarious.
I thought Jordan looked a bit frightened.
Someone mentioned that.
He didn't look happy that you'd done it.
I was just waiting for my food, man. I didn't know what was happening. I just heard him say Eagles. I was thinking, oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, like, I wasn't able to go to the game, and I was thoroughly enjoying it back at home. I was like, this is hilarious. But the thing is, like, you can see, like, in your eyes, Rich, you're like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I think, like, I don't want to be horrible, but the intelligent Brighton fans found it funny as well. Like,
yeah, and this is it.
Yeah.
It was just a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
Fair play to the one. Like I said it in the match vlog that there was one fan who called me Jeffrey Schlupp, and I think he deleted it thinking it might have been maybe racist. I don't know. I was going to reply to it, and he deleted it. Oh, that's a shame, because it was like, that's good banter. Like, fair play to you. You know,
I would love to be called Jeffrey Schlupp.
I know you would. Welcome, Alex. Welcome, Tim, and big up, Chairman, as always.
Hey.
What's up with you, Alex? Talk us through your thoughts on yesterday.
Just so when I watch like the post game and stuff, I think, you know, nerves are hot and things like that. There's another podcast, obviously, and they talk and stuff, and I watch it and sometimes go on it, and we all love each other, right? We're all a family.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, I'm on that podcast. I kind of agree with Patrick. Patrick, not Patrick O'Connor, but he I don't think he was on it yesterday, but Patrick from Texas, and he was basically saying, I don't know if the midfield is gonna work. And I couldn't believe I was thinking that too, but I'm wondering the same thing. Like, once everybody's back, do we keep running the double pivot? I don't know. I thought it was a great performance defensively, minus the 2 times that Koleosha completely destroyed Ward. One on the long pass where Anderson made an absolutely incredible tackle. And then the second time when he goes right past him on the byline and gives it right for the back heel. Like, Koleosha just had him on. I don't even know what you can say. And he said, you know, the other thing that Patrick said, I'm just spouting somebody else's like thinking. And
no,
stuff,
it's fine.
Yeah, but he was basically saying, you know, what helped Ward last year was that he was physical. He's always been smart enough to know he has to give a few steps, but he was a little bit physical. last year. And I'm not seeing that this year. I really am not. And, you know, sometimes when you back off, like on the long pass to Kolyosha had a mountain of speed, and Ward was just so far behind once he started going that even if you give him a few steps, that just gives him more time to like get to maximum speed way past. I don't know.
I have a theory on that. And it's just come to mind now. I think last year, Chet Decore would have gone over and covered most of Ward's area.
Okay.
Now Lerma's come in. Chet and Lerma literally just sitting there. I don't really see them drift off as much as they used to. At the beginning of the season, I think Lerma did. He would cover both sides. But these recent games, especially with losing Ebbs and obviously not having Michael, I think they've just decided to sit in front of the back too.
I think breaking the shape is probably something they don't really want to do.
Which now means that Ward actually has to defend 1v1. And I think that's what's happened. And he's getting exposed because of it.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
if I have any good ideas.
I think it's an interesting point, though, on the midfield, Alex, because I think it's one of the big decisions Roy will have when everyone's fit is, does he go with Decore and Lerma, or does he go with one of them and Will Fuse?
I think neither. I think he's going to go with a flat 3, and he's going to go with Schlupp.
You think he'll go with Schlupp?
No.
Yeah.
Where will Eze play?
I don't think the double pivot's working.
So you think he'll go Decore, Lerma, Schlupp in the middle? Does that mean Eze goes to the left?
No, I mean like Eze in the 10. Like I guess it would be it's like a 4-3-3, but with like, I don't know, Eze on the left midfield maybe, Schlupp on the right midfield, and Eze in the middle. I don't like it, honestly. I think, but I don't see them figuring out ways to use Lerma and Decore as progressive players, and
I think they can be. I see them given. I don't know about everyone else, but I'd like to see them given a bit more license to go forward as well, because both of them can be effective going forward.
I think a 4-3-3 could work if Decore sits. It's that because Lerma could go forward.
Yeah.
You know?
I kind of thought it would be like one of them
went forward,
one of them goes. But like even Decore can be good going forward at times. Like one of them sits, if one of them sits and the other one goes, kind of thing. But it needs to be more flexible. But flexibility isn't Roy's strength.
Yeah. Sorry to make it like all X's and O's. Yeah.
No, it's good analysis. It's food for thought as well. You know, Tim.
I mean, this is for me. These games, these matches are the ones that I am willing to celebrate, because when you play poorly or not up to standard and you find a way to win, that to me those are statement wins in a season to me, because you're just not up to it. Things are not going well. You're not doing what you need to be doing. You're getting beat in some key areas. And I agree that it was weird to see the midfield not. I mean, to be fair, I guess I should say I've seen Decore make a lot of interceptions, but usually it's right in front of the back four, and he's right in the middle, and he's cutting out a pass. But we're not stopping, teams, except with some exceptions, but we're not stopping teams, and we certainly didn't stop Burnley playing through. Like, the midfield wasn't great yesterday, which was surprising and kind of disappointing. So here's a question that I do not have the answer to, because I didn't see and I haven't read that Decore is injured. So Roy subs him off.
Yeah.
And on comes Ebbs, and on comes HAMMOND. Now, I did think, and I'm going to get myself in trouble with Ali here, but one of the problems I have with Schlupp, even though I thought he was brilliant yesterday, is that
good safety, Tim. Good safety.
I mean, he was brilliant. He was brilliant yesterday, but he still did this, and it's my biggest problem with him.
I mean, he scored a goal. Was he brilliant?
He was. He was. I thought he was really good in doing the things that he does great, and that kind of burst and that kind of getting into the box, like he's a menace. When we give Schlupp the job of being the menace that he is, another I'll go to is last year at Man United when we were absolutely toothless, and who gets and United goes down to 10 men, and then we're just going into the box, and who's the one that's going into the box and gets the goal? Schlupp gets the goal. That's his job, and he does it as good as anybody I've ever seen. The thing that he doesn't do that drives me nuts is he loses the ball. He's great defending, but he loses the ball and doesn't drive us forward, say, like the way that Jordan does. And that makes me a little crazy. So when Schlupp comes off, Hamada comes on, I felt it was weird that Decore comes off. But then when Hamada comes on and he's actually making runs, and he said that's the only time that Mitchell was getting forward. When Schlupp comes off, then Mitchell starts coming forward because Mitchell he didn't have much in the way of cover. Now, to be fair, they weren't trying to attack down the right because they knew they had all kinds of opportunity down the left. So we knew that was happening anyway. But it was weird. It was weird to see Decore come off like that. So
hopefully it's not an injury.
Yeah,
and it's not an injury.
We've heard nothing. There's nothing on it.
It's strange, but that was the thing that seemed to make. I mean, Ahmed is still raw, but he was trying to make runs. He does make a run where he tries to get the ball into Eddie and it goes nowhere. So it was a lot of running and a lot of energy that didn't produce a whole bunch, but it did make a little bit of a difference on the left side, which I thought was interesting. And is that a tactical choice? I have no idea.
Fair. I mean, on that with the midfield aspect, I think the reason why it looks so bad to me is we're playing 3 defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One at the 10. Yeah.
I'm playing one in the 10, which is a problem because Will Hughes is trying his best to get into decent spaces, but probably in trying so hard to get into decent spaces, not being in the right place.
Yeah.
So it was quite easy for Burnley to just push up the field. Let's say we had a fit Ebbs playing, trust me, Burnley would have dropped off 5 yards.
Yeah.
Because Ebbs is just so clever at picking up those half spaces.
Yeah.
And then he's going to drive forward as well. So I don't think there's not much we can ask for that midfield at this moment in time with 3 DMs.
I also think that Decore didn't have his strongest game either.
No, he wasn't.
So I would say that could have maybe influenced his substitution a little bit as well, because I think the Lerma was doing what Decore was doing and a bit more. So I'd say that if one of them was going to come off, it would have been Decore.
And you know what? If Roy's identified that Decore's not having a good game and hooked him, then fair play. This is what we need the squad for. Yeah. I just hope he does that for the other players he loves so much. But he did do it with Ward. I was really impressed that he hooked Ward.
Yeah.
Me too.
I was, because he did that early as well. It was just like, we got to change this.
Can I defend Schlupp a little bit?
Go for it.
Sorry, Tim.
Go for it. Tell me I'm wrong. Go for it.
Okay, so there's 2 types of people that annoy me that lose the ball. There's ones that, like Ward, who lose the ball and don't try progressive passes. And then there's people like Schlupp that tries for the insane pass and often doesn't get it. And, he's more accurate, obviously, when he's going sideways or backwards, but he does go for things, and you can see where it's coming from. With Ward, I don't really see him looking for a pass and finding a person. I just don't see it. And that annoys me more, I guess. That type of pass.
I will say I'll defend Ward in the sense that I was defending Schlupp earlier. Is like these guys are getting scapegoated because they shouldn't be being played. And Joel Ward should not be a Premier League regular right back in 2023. I more than happily have him as a backup right back, given his experience and voice in the dressing room. But you look at top 10 fullbacks. If you look at like Brentford's fullbacks, like they are really good. Even Brentford's really good going forward. And we've got Joel Ward on the ball. Like it's ridiculous. And he shouldn't be being used. And the danger that we're doing as a club is we're actually doing these players a disservice because they become scapegoated by the fans. And actually, Schlupp and Ward could be good squad players, but they're regular starters, which shouldn't be the case. And I think Ward is just doing the best that he can with his abilities. But like I said earlier, I'm tired of talking about the right back situation because it's just utterly ridiculous.
Back up. Sorry about that. Yeah.
And then our backup right back is Nathaniel Klein, who's also our backup left back, and he shouldn't be the backup. Well, it's actually, do you know what? He's okay as a backup if you don't have your first choice as Joel Ward. But yeah,
this is it. Chairman, have you looked at anything differently from yesterday?
I have actually. Yeah, I've watched the match of the day a couple of times, and I think. I can't say we played very well because being there and watching on telly, I don't think we did. One thing I would say is that all the saves that Sam Johnson made, I think were very, regulation save, which he should be making as opposed to special saves. But what I would say is that we were pretty awful. Our midfield basically gave up and let Burnley run the show. Both of our goals came down the wings, and we didn't bother going through midfield to get the goals. And I think that's where our problem is. I mean, one thing I will say, I think Burnley will go down because if they can't beat us, who can't score a goal with no midfield, they're bang in trouble. But two things I want to say is, one, there is definitely a problem in midfield. When Decoy went off and they moved Will Hughes back to his proper position, he did look a bit better. But there is something fundamentally wrong there because you can't be letting a team, and to be fair, most teams that we play, they dominate midfield continuously, and you can't, you just can't. You play against good teams, you let them dominate midfield, you lose. It's as simple as that. And we've got two decent midfielders. In fact, if we're playing three holding midfielders yesterday and still getting outrun in midfield, there's got to be something fundamentally wrong about the tactics or the setup. And the other thing about Ward was I thought his positional sense was really poor because that Koleosho, I mean, he did run him ragged. But what he did do was he sat off him so much. So he let the guys cross the ball to him, bring it down, and then he'll go over to him. Well, if he stood 5 yards close to him, they probably wouldn't have got the ball in the first place. But what I'm saying is he let him control the ball, and then he ran at him, and then he's in trouble. If he didn't let him control the ball, he wouldn't have done half as much damage.
Especially for the one where Gunnarsson missed that chance. He didn't get much.
That was beautiful.
On it.
Yeah.
The ball's come over to Koleosho. Ward's standing side on, literally level with him. So Koleosho was like, cheers, mate.
And to be fair, in the second half, obviously, all this happened literally right in front of us, didn't it? We could see it so clearly. And we could see that Ward was giving him probably 15, 20 yards of space. The ball would come off the Koleosho. He would bring it down, and then he would go over there. And now he's got it. And like Zaha used to do, get the ball down and run straight at you. And that's what he was doing. But if Ward would have been over maybe another 5, 10 yards, as soon as the ball was getting crossed to him, he's already on his way over there. Yeah. As soon as the ball gets to him, he just knocks it out or knocks him up in the air. But he didn't. He let him control it. And
pass back.
And the other thing, actually thinking about it now, was the Burnley manager. Why did he hook him off? He was causing problems just all over the place. And when he hooked him off, it was comfortable after that. Even though when you're there and you're 1-0 up and you're struggling, you think, oh my God, you hang on. But when you watch it back on the telly, you'll see we were very comfortable at the end. It wasn't a problem, was it really? Yeah. That's why I think they'll go down, because I think he's making poor decisions. They played against a poor Palace side who can't score a goal, and we still won 2-0 comfortably. And, 6 home defeats on the trot? No team has ever stayed up doing that. 1 point from 11 games in it. They're going down, I'm afraid. At least Luton are showing more fight than Burnley are.
I was going to say, I mean, if you look at it, how did Palace get in the weekend when the bottom three are just blowing everything up. We get the one that, I mean, thank God that we did. The one that can't, the gang that can't shoot straight, thankfully. But Sheffield gets their first win. Sheffield United gets their first win. And
Pretty
Luton came
undeserved,
within
I
4
thought.
minutes
Yeah.
of getting a win over Liverpool. That was amazing.
Luton did what Fulham did. They just couldn't clear their lines in that little moment, and it cost them. And I thought, I watched that game. I'm thinking we've got them in a couple of weeks, and I'm not gonna lie. If they play like that,
that's a problem.
We're in for a game.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I said to you, didn't I?
I
I said to you at the game that I saw somewhere. I don't know where I saw it, but there was some stat that someone showed about Hodgson when he plays against teams in the bottom three. He's got something ridiculous, like a 80% win ratio. So he knows how to beat these teams, isn't he? Even though we went to Sheffield United, it was a very similar game. They run the midfield, they had all the pressing, they had all the play. Yet we had one chance, put it away, and held on comfortably. So
They were nothing. Like, we dominated the Sheffield game.
No, we really didn't. No, we really didn't. We went to Sheffield. I mean, it was a more closer game than Burnley was, definitely. But
yeah,
to be fair, they did a lot of running as they pushed us back a lot. Sheffield United without having the quality up front again. Very similar to Burnley.
I think it's just both of them lack the quality up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting because there's been no sackings yet, and I think it'd be interesting in the international period to see whether any of these teams are going to twist.
One will. I think one will.
I think it'll be Bournemouth, and I think that's curtains for all three of those teams if Bournemouth twist.
And they deserve it, don't they? So letting Gary O'Neill go.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, mate. Absolutely ridiculous.
Is there any other possible choices other than those four? I don't see it.
No, I think
Daesh is doing well now.
Yeah, Daesh was the only other one that was a bit under pressure, but I think he's turned it around a little bit now.
Wolves,
I think realistically, the only other one's really Ten Hag, isn't it? That's the only other one that's really in contention. Brighton, Man United.
Brighton could go down.
Well, Brighton could lose their manager to Man United
potentially. For the title from what they were sounding like at the start of the year. So
Bournemouth's next game.
How's that going?
They're home to Newcastle.
If you watch the Everton Brighton game, Everton was so lucky. Brighton had 80% possession, and all Everton did was play long ball, pretty much 2 deflected goals. But it was all Brighton. I mean, how they didn't win the game, God only knows. And I hate saying that, believe me, but they didn't deserve to lose by any way, shape, or form.
You think that's what it'll be like when we play them? Then Roy will just sit back and let them.
To be fair, he sits back against everybody, doesn't he? Literally.
Yeah.
And that's why generally he doesn't win against the bigger teams because he doesn't think, well, I'm going to lose, so let's have a go. He just sits back. So,
but at least we'll have Eze and Elise to kind of break. Hopefully he'll do like, what's the game in lockdown when we had like no shots on goal, and then was it Benteke?
It was
2 shots on goal, 2 touches in the box. Yeah.
Yes, that's the famous. Was it Martin Tyler said? Surely that they can't.
Yeah,
that sure it would be robbery for them to steal it now. Surely they can't. And then
Benteke.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I think that's our best hope that we do something like that.
Man, that year under Vieira, I think we had 4 away games and we never had a shot, and we were at 3 of them.
Yeah,
so, was it Villa, Nottingham Forest, Leicester? It was.
The Forest one was we were there when we. I remember we walked. We had a little walk outside the ground. I remember. Grim, and that was like one of the games where he put Schluppin over Will Fuse again. It was like, what are you doing? But have you seen on Twitter tonight? There's a lot of Strasbourg fans complaining about
happy.
A lot of them. Yeah,
really.
They're getting some really disappointing draws. I feel like just playing
he's
terrible.
not doing great. He's not doing very well.
Well, I thought about this earlier. I wonder what all of you think about this, and you made me think about it here, Chairman. Is that this idea that under Vieira, particularly last season, we just couldn't even get shots. Like we couldn't even get to that point. And now, or it was a struggle. It was a struggle to get
like that too.
Yeah, and now we're at. we've had two types of Roy performances. Some Roy performances where we get a lot of shots and not nearly enough on target. Or then we have like yesterday where we're just nothing. We're not creating a darn thing, but then we end up being clinical. It's weird. It's so strange.
It is, yeah. I mean, look at the last 10 games last year when Roy came back in again. But, I mean, we were having 25 shots a game, weren't we? It was ridiculous. And this year, we've just gone back to pre-Vieira days, isn't it? Where it's all tight, it's not great. I mean, okay, our XP is fantastic. 3 shots yesterday, 2 goals scored, and Burnley 9 shots on target, And sorry, 9 shots, 2 on target. And that's the problem, isn't it? Right. So we are our XP is really good, but at the end of the day, if you don't shoot, you don't score, you don't win games. It's as straightforward as that, really, isn't it?
I'm withholding my judgment this season on Roy until he's got everyone available.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because he showed last season that we can play good football with that team, with Eze and Elise. And I think when we've got that team, he's well suited to those players. With the way that we can keep it solid with Anderson. And then the way that Anderson can keep the ball, and then the way we can break with Eze and Elise, I think it's a very Roy team. I think when everyone's back, that's when I'm going to be interested. If we go back to the way we were before the end of the season when he came back, if we don't, I'll be really disappointed.
I agree, and I'll say this. I mean, Roy has done an absolutely amazing job. Last season at this point, Palace had 10 points. 10 goals, 12 conceded. So we're 10 goals, 13 conceded right now, and on 15 points. That's amazing. And we don't have our best ever player in the lineup, and we haven't had the one we were depending on to make our attack, more than it had been. Hasn't played a single minute all season. That is astounding.
Yeah,
we are 33% better.
Insane ability to yield points, and us as a fan base are how have you done that? The football's been turgid. You look back at lockdown in particular, the football was so bad, but then we were look how many points are on.
Second half of the season was so bad, but
right, guys,
we've gone ways to beat Sheffield.
One last thing with you guys before we go. So it's kind of just stemmed from this comment from Cody, and he has said, when it comes, sorry, my laptop's really slow. But he was just talking about David Ozil. There you go. I think Ozil could be a help for our midfield if Roy would just give him a chance. Doesn't hurt that he's fast and the size of the Incredible Hulk. Now, without a reason, if there's one player currently in our under-21 setup, so we can't include Jez because he's first team at the moment.
Right.
If there's one player in our current under-21 setup that you think may make a breakthrough into the first team, yes, I know it's Roy, but who's the most likely player do you think that is this season? JC.
So
it's gotta be.
I might have to mute myself, but it looks like my dogs are done. So if it was up to me, it would be Teo. I think that he's the closest, but I think Mola's a good shout, and I think Ozo's a great shout. I think people almost see him too much he looks the part type thing, and I don't know how much of him is good end product, but I love Ozo. I love watching him, and Teo's just dynamite on the left side. Watch U21s now. We have Trialist B. He's awesome. Rashan Maturin.
Good player. Very good player.
So what? He could even make it, but I doubt that he'll get a shout. Yeah.
Cool. JC?
I didn't know Alex's name was JC. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the easy one to say is Mola because he's banging goals for fun. But I think I would probably say Malcolm. And I think I say Malcolm. I'm going to keep this explanation short because I know you said no explanation. But I think the fact that we don't actually have a right winger right now, and Elise needs to bed in to come back. I think to have Malcolm there as sort of that stopgap, and then when Elise comes in, Malcolm can be the last 20-minute kind of player. I'd probably choose Malcolm in that case because we have got 2 strikers in Edouard and Mateta.
Monaco game, didn't he say how well Abiola played? And then we've just not seen him.
Yeah, Monaco's going to steal him from us, was what he was joking. It was very condescending.
That's just classic Roy, isn't it? Oh, yeah, he's really good, but yeah, I ain't going to play him.
I ain't going to use him. Ali?
Look, I want to say quickly, one thing that annoys me on this is he doesn't even use them on the bench. Like, a young player on the bench for experience can be invaluable, just to be around the first team and watch them. Like, we've had 2 goalkeepers on the bench at times this season when an academy player could be on the bench. But I would go one of the strikers, Mola, or even Marsh from the under-18s. Like, we have a problem up front, and these guys are banging the goals in. I'd like to see one of those 2 on the bench, or any of these guys' names you mentioned. I'd like to see them on the bench more. And what's angered me is during this period of injuries, they haven't even been given that experience of being on the bench. Like, you listen to ex-pros or you read their autobiographies and stuff, they always say how invaluable it was to be in the dressing room, watching the senior guys and how they prepare for games. And we put Remy Matthews on the bench alongside another goalkeeper. And that's the pathway that Parish was talking about.
Okay, Tim?
That's my opinion. That and right backs, if you want to get me annoyed, if I'm ever annoying.
I'll let Ali avoid the right backs, and I'll say one that we haven't mentioned yet. Not because I think he's ready, but because I think this is one that I'm keeping an eye on. It's Caden Rodney. I want to see if Rodney
good shout.
can.
That's a good shout.
I want to see if he can get ready, because if in the limited minutes I have seen him play, he looks like a player who's got some pace. He's got the physicality. He looks like there's a bit of promise there, but I don't know how far away he is. But I mean, so maybe that's a bit more hopeful than it is realistic. I would love to see a right back emerge from the academy.
Chairman?
Do you know, we've been lucky enough to see the under 21-23 stroke about 6-7 times now. And apart from Jess, I really struggle to see any of them making it. And me personally, I would say there's probably 2 or 3 in the under 18s have probably got a better chance in breaking through than the under 23s. And I would say Zach Marsh and I think it was named Jesse Derry or something like Sean Derry's son.
Yeah.
They look really something special. But obviously, you know, it's seen enough for the under 21s, 23s. Apart from Jess. And even in some times, he hasn't really impressed me that much, and pretty much nobody else has. I don't know, David Ozo. I think if Palace was in the Championship, League One, I think he'd break in easily. But he ain't going to walk into a Premiership team, no way. He probably another one. He probably needs to go out alone to a League One, League Two side. But yeah, I mean that's the problem, isn't it? If you're in the Premiership, unless you're an exciting, really talented youngster, you're just not going to make it, are you? It's just too big a step from youth team football to Premiership football, and that's the biggest issue.
And to be fair to Roy, I think that was kind of the point he was trying to make the other week, that these guys just can't have the impact we need in the Premier League, but he just did it in a really bad way.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
A shocking way. You know what? For me, it's Teo. I think that left back area, bad. Like Mitchell has been brilliant this season. Don't get me wrong, but boy, we need to give him a break at some point. Yeah. Surely, and Klein can't be the answer, you know. So I'm hoping it's Terry now that he's back fit. He was brilliant against Leeds under 21s the other night. Like his work rate is stupid.
And he can fly too. He can fly, Rich.
Yeah.
He's actually better defensively. Now, granted, that is obviously academy level, but he has improved in that area too. So I'm going Teo.
I like it.
Wicked. All right, no, I appreciate you all guys. It's a lovely discussion, actually. Nice discussion. Always great to have Tim, Alex, jumping on, Chairman.
Man, no problem.
In the chat. Wait for let me get involved in this.
I can ask, has anybody else ever been booed in the toilet?
You know what, Chairman, we'll give you the platform. Here you go. Let it out. It seems like it's a therapy session. Go on.
No, it's okay. It was just a bit of fun, wasn't it? Really, but you know, obviously, when you go into a service station with probably 100 odd Brighton fans, you know, it's going to be a bit of a. It was funny, wasn't it? It was just a bit some people take it as a joke, and
But why in
some
the
people take it as
toilet?
I know, but you know, you're standing in a Paddy shirt and he's booing me, and I'm thinking, for God's sake, grow up. What's the matter with you? But it was funny. At the time, it was funny.
You know the bathroom's like one place where you just want a bit of peace and quiet.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I've got a question. Why didn't that make the vlog?
It did.
It did.
What, being booed in the toilet?
No, not
Yeah,
no, the
the actual
story,
booing.
not the actual booing.
No, he did. Also.
That was a funny part of the vlog. If I had to do a double take, I like, wait, we're doing a toilet review? And then...
I guess I need to watch these more. Wow.
Alex is a fake fan.
Whoa.
He hasn't seen the vlog.
I might be one of 5 viewers of Tact Eagle every week, so don't get on me. I love that show.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get Jason to apologize later. Ali, shout out your channel because you do some great stuff as well.
Pride of South London Fan TV. To be fair, I need to get back to doing the videos, but probably do one next week after Everton. But thanks to you guys for having me on. Love the channel and all the work you're doing. So always happy to come on, particularly on weekends when Schlupp scores. So
I literally said,
actually, this is what I was going to say. I want to do it live on air. Me and Jordan had a little bet at the start of the season that Schlupp would get to 10 goals.
No, that was not the bet.
No,
Even though that would never happen, the bet was if Schlupp scores a hat trick,
yeah.
then I owe you some cash or something. I think it's
No.
20
But
quid.
I'm gonna go with a new bet. Yeah, live on air, right?
You can't. Okay, so this is facts now, yeah. Okay.
Channel to channel. Yeah.
Okay.
We're in November. All competitions, including FA Cup, Schlupp gets the double figures, gets 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, I will change all of my socials to Eagle Eye Football. If he does, you have to change all of your socials to Pride of South London Fan TV. Channel to channel.
Whoa. That's a
The
big
thing
one.
is, yeah, that is a safe bet for me, but I don't trust you on Twitter.
For
to
one
not
week.
make our name look bad.
Yeah?
You're gonna make our name look bad on Twitter just for the bants.
Yeah, that's true actually.
But I'm not gonna take that. That's stupid.
Yeah, I'd turn you into like a Schlupp fan club or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I will do is I'll say, if Schlupp gets 10 goals, I owe you 20 quid. If you don't, you owe me 20 quid. Yeah, that's fair.
Or we hunt down Brighton on an away game, and you go in the toilets wearing a Palace shirt, go Eagles, and we live stream it.
I like dares at the end of these bets. Yeah.
I'll happily do the 20
On
quid. I can't be
on
after Brighton,
5-year plan.
though. 20 quid.
what a comment. Don't simply goes in training.
And he can't play. And he can't
Wasn't
play in the under
confused otherwise.
23s.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
I love that.
Oh, we have a good laugh here. Guys, I really appreciate you all, man. What's coming up this week? So, I'll be on Beat the Drop tomorrow, which is at 7 now, which is a new time. It is funny. Go on to Forest Fan TV. It is absolutely hilarious. So basically, it started off at the back end of last season, where it had us and all the 9 teams that were threatened relegation, basically, and we just kept it going. We just banter each other. And now with West Ham losing, I hope Jace is there. I hope Jace is there tomorrow. But yeah, that's what we're on tomorrow. Tuesday, we've got the Premier League review. Me and JC will take over that for the time being. Wednesday's Tactical. Thursday will be the Everton preview. Friday, the presser. Saturday, we're at the game. So the fan cams. And Sunday, we'll do a match reaction as usual. Guys, have a lovely week. I'm back at work tomorrow. Stress. But yeah, other than that, guys, up to Palace.
Eagles.
Eagles.
Dallas.